right, guys, thank you so much for joining us on episode 2 of Noah Knows, the science of health and fitness. I'm your host, the bearded bullshit buster and swolly scientist, Noah Jobin. Today, we're going to continue to answer all the most confusing questions, your questions about fitness, focusing on weight training.
All right, the first question is from Christina A. She wants to find exercises that work the areas where she wants to gain results and lose fat, and how to balance the two.
Okay, so if you're inexperienced, one, I would either say hire a trainer or go with a buddy. But it's also going to be beneficial for you to do a little bit of research on your own. You can download apps that demonstrate how to do specific exercises specifically on the muscle group that you want to work. But more importantly here, doing specific exercises do not facilitate your fat loss. Those things are sure they'll burn calories, right? But it's primarily to build muscle. Your diet should facilitate your weight loss, and it's also important to really understand that there's no exercise you will ever do that can specifically target a specific area of the body for fat loss, only muscle gain.
Next question from Joe D. Progressive overload versus drop sets.
Okay, Joe. So, complicated question here because you're asking two different things. Progressive overload is just going to be how we continue to push ourselves outside of the comfort zone day in, day out, or week on week or month to continually make progress versus doing something that's a drop set that is something that it is finite to a specific movement or exercise where you do one weight, no rest, or maybe minimal rest, then lighter weight, keep going and keep going, keep going. They're really two different things. For a more in-depth explanation, send me a message.
Next question from Danielle M. Why don't I like it? I'm sure she's referring to exercising and fitness. And she says she wants to do it, but she doesn't want to do it.
I mean, for lack of a better term here, woman up. A lot of people don't like it. Why? Because it's hard. It's something that isn't instant, right? It's something we have to work at. And what I would really say is find something that motivates you and find something that keeps you accountable, whether that be paying a personal trainer or meeting someone and making the plans ahead of time to meet at the gym every single day or every other day. But, find something that really motivates you, that drives you, and that will really help you get to your first step.
And I'll comment on this as well because I'm a client of Noah's. What I told him up front is, one, I don't know what I'm supposed to do every day, what I told you.
Yeah.
And I said, what did I say? I said, you need to figure out how to keep me motivated before anything. When I'm there, I'll try my hardest and do my best, but you got to figure out how to either show me small results, instant gratification, something, and you've been doing a great job so far. So I would say to Danielle, you have to be self-aware to what motivates you. It could be having a goal to look a certain way on a certain vacation coming up, or a big event like a wedding or a big birthday. You have to figure out for yourself what keeps you motivated before asking anyone else.
Yeah. You know what we call that, Chris?
What?
Find your why.
Find your why? That makes sense. Self-awareness. And once you learn that opens the door for a lot of other things too. Next question. It seems that Kyle and Heath have the same question. And actually,
Keith, Kyle, and Heath.
Keith, Kyle, and Heath. You're right. So to give them credit, Keith C, Kyle S, and Heath M. All pretty much ask, I'll use Keith's verbiage here, putting the dumbbells back when you're done using them or cleaning the machines after you sweat all over them, not re-racking the weights. Why don't people think that's necessary or skip that when they're at a gym that everybody uses?
This purely comes down to laziness again. This is something where you've worked hard, but now by comparison and relatively speaking, that weight is the heaviest when you need to put it back, right?
Never thought of it like that.
Yeah, it's you're tired, you're exhausted, you've just worked your ass off. All of a sudden now even 5 pounds is quite heavy. But I'll put it to you this way. It's impressive to lift a lot of weight or heavyweight. But you know what's more impressive? Being fucking courteous and not being a lazy fuck. Pick it up and put it away.
Okay. From Dana R. Why do people chat at the gym and take up space instead of working out? These people are really asking your like opinion on human psychology and
I mean, this is just subjective. Now, there's two approaches. Is one, they're just not working hard enough, and in those situations, it will forever seem like somebody's in your way. Now, the other consideration we may have is, maybe just maybe they actually know the appropriate rest times for a given exercise, right? So, if someone just started doing, a heavy 5-rep max for their deadlifts, you know what the appropriate wait time for something like that is in between sets? 5 minutes. 5 minutes. Now, if you're one of those people that just came over and you see that person just dicking off on his phone for 5 minutes, you're going to probably think that person's lazy. But maybe they're actually doing what they're supposed to be doing.
All right. John D. and Jake K. have the same question. How to get bigger and harder?
Viagra.
Yeah. All right, next question. No.
All right, guys. So I'm going to assume you're both advanced trainers, or you've been spending more time in the gym, guys. And this is really going to come down to the level of intensity that you're doing and really rep quality. So we want to make each rep count as much as possible. Just doing endless volume isn't going to give you the size that you want. It's only in the most challenging reps that you're actually going to achieve growth or breakdown of the muscle, right? So like if you're doing a set of 10 and 7, 8, 9, and 10 are the most difficult, right? Those are the reps that you want. That's what you need to focus on. And both of you guys, please send me a message and I can tell you, break down the scientific principles of hypertrophy for you. So go ahead, send me a message and I will go in depth on this subject.
Michelle M. says, training shifts as you age after 40, more or less peak performance, weight loss.
Okay, so this is a good question. This is actually a really good question because typically we hear how when you age, it becomes harder and harder to maintain weight loss or muscle growth, and we associate it as something as sarcopenia, right? The breakdown of your body. But studies actually show it's quite the opposite. Now, sarcopenia is a very real thing, right? So if you're older, you do need to consume more protein than someone who is younger. However, that being said, typically people that are old, they struggle with weight loss and training simply because they don't do it enough. On average, when you get, and I forget the actual age range, but they show people that are older move 3 miles less a day than their counterparts. And when these older subjects are brought back to meeting how active they should be for an average younger person, healthy age, the difference is quite minimal. So I would keep performance, diet, and training largely the same, even with age.
Robert W. says when he does core workouts, he wants to barf. Is there any way to prevent that?
So maybe, look at what you're eating. Are you eating too much, right? Are you eating larger amounts of food in too close proximity to working out where it's making the movements uncomfortable for you? Really, you want to prioritize what you eat differently before training and after training versus the type of foods you eat away from it. So you're really going to want to stick with, if it's within a half hour, you can go with a Gatorade and a protein shake, and you should be fine. That's really going to absorb fast and cut down on stomach content.
Tessa P. says she needs motivation for a skinny, fat girl with a fear of gyms. And those are her words for the sake of my career.
Tessa, I got the answer for you. There is actually a private gym you can go to glitfit.com or send me a personal message. This is where I'm a trainer. It's a 100% private gym. The only people that will be there are the people that are paid and scheduled appointments to be with a trainer or a trainer actually working out. So no extra eyes, total privacy. Send me a message. Let's get you started.
Ali K says the balance between cutting calories and still having enough fuel to burn and build.
Okay, so you want to burn and build. Again, if you are in a deficit here, we need to prioritize 50% of your daily carb intake around training, right? So 50%, that's a lot, right? And we really want to optimize those to be fast absorbing carbs. They're going to process very simple. They're going to be high glycemic, right? And then your other meals away from training, you can start going to more complex carbs or fibrous carbs. Things are going to be low calorie, but high in actual volume density, right? So like cauliflower rice versus regular rice. You can have an entire frying pan of cauliflower rice for 120 calories, and it's going to fill you up. It's going to last a long time.
Forgive me for butchering your name, but Ilif A says, I always seem to gain weight the first 2 to 3 weeks of working out. It's very discouraging. Why does this happen?
It's really simple here. You're putting yourself into a surplus. Studies show when diets are unregulated in training, most people will gain weight, or they have they plateau or have a minimal loss. I know of a 16-month study offhand that looked at people doing an hour of workout on a regular basis, but because they did not control their diet, some of them gained weight at the end of the 16 months, and some like I think women at the end of the 16 months in this study had only lost half a pound, even though they were exercising up to an hour on a regular basis. Guys, you need to track, and you need to track accurately. Make sure you're in a deficit and not a perceived deficit.
All right, still a strength training category here, but dipping into cardio. Alex K asks, treadmill running versus HIIT training.
Find what works best for you guys. Very simple answer. No cardio superior to another. If you do, let's say, 500 calories burned on a treadmill versus HIIT versus any other style that you want, it's about the total calories, okay? So whatever type of cardio you enjoy doing, do that, and that's going to provide you with the best stimulus.
And last but not least, Jacqueline G simply wants to know, how do I just get started?
Take the first step, right? I mean, it's find what motivates you, but be committed to it, because ultimately, at the end of the day, motivation is fleeting, right? There's going to be days where you don't want to show up, and if you just rely on motivation alone, you're not going to show up on those days. Be committed to it. When you're committed, you're going to show up banging down the door when you never even wanted to be there in the first place.
And it doesn't matter. I'll elaborate on that because, again, a client of Noah's, I told him when we first started, 1 day a week. That's it. one hour. And I'll tell you the truth, I didn't really do much the other days. But then we went to 3 days a week, and that's where we are now. We're not too far into the journey, but I would say being minimally successful, the most successful I've ever been with consistent working out is right now with Noah. And I would say even if it's parking in a far parking spot when you go to work or Wegmans, to walk that length of the parking lot instead of finding the closest spot, stuff
Right.
like that. Like maybe do that every time you go to the grocery store.
Yeah.
That's a once a week workout, and then work your way up from there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right?
Totally agree.
All right, that's it. That's that covers all the strength training questions, Noah.
As always, guys, thank you so much for being here. You've made my day. I hope you guys have a great day, and I'll see you on the next episode. Please remember to like, favorite, share, and subscribe.